It was very solid tee to green. Nothing was overly special, just struck the ball well. Didn't get a lot in the hole, but just enough to play well.
How tough was it with the wind out there today?
Not only the wind on this course, but there's lots of different elevation, tee to fairway and then fairway to green, so you're not only factoring in a little downwind, but you're factoring in a little bit of upwind or uphill as well, or downhill, so you got a double factor in there trying to figure out how far you really need to hit it. Couple that with some firm greens and you're kind of guessing and hoping on some numbers.
Go ahead, if you're ready.
You mentioned last week when we spoke you were really preparing for St. David's, and that the round at Trump National was really a good barometer and a good testing force leading in. You must be pretty excited to see it follow it through with the round here today.
Trump being such a pick your spot and go and hit it helps here, because you could hit driver everywhere, but that's not the way to play the golf course. So you just kind of took the same game plan and place it here and hit it and give yourself the best look at birdie you can. Fortunately, I was able to hit most shots in the center of the club so that I got the looks I was expecting. Tough question. Not many, maybe 3 or 4 at most. I really drove the ball well, and when I chose to lay up with hybrids and irons off the tee, I hit those in the fairway as well too. So I was never in trouble really once today off of the tee. I never had to worry about making a mistake until the second shot.
And how many drivers then did you hit on the golf course? Did you hit one on, probably none on the front side, right? Maybe.
No, I hit some on the front side. I must have hit them on, I started out in the morning, it was cold, so the ball wasn't traveling. So even some of the shorter holes early on, I was hitting driver just because it was so cold. The temperature started to rise now, but we were all shivering for the first 9 holes. So I probably hit 4 drivers on the front side and probably another 4 on the back.
A lot easier to play from the fairway then, when you didn't have too much trouble off the tee box?
Considering my one double came from the middle of the fairway 100 yards out, everything else was good from the fairway. One bad swing from the middle, but when you don't have trees or long grass in your way, it gets a little easier to play.
Pretty good start of the year for you, obviously. Advancing to U.S. sectionals. Played decent at the Confer Cup. Just, were you ready for this year? Did you do anything special to get ready for the season?
About the end of January, start of February, once basketball wound down, I kind of got in a back room at Bala and just worked on a couple little things. I widened the stance out, changed the grip just a hair, and it seems to be enough that I've got to where I can hit it in the center of the club pretty much every time that I'm able to hit the golf ball now, which I haven't been able to do in years past. So my ball striking's really gone through the roof for me, which has probably allowed me to be much more consistent tee to green than in years past.
Yeah, you mentioned junior varsity level refereeing.
Yes, I'll referee anything they give me, but I've worked my way up to JV basketball, and hopefully in another year or 2 I'll be able to do some varsity action.
And that's JV college?
No,
JV
high school.
High school, okay. And what, Philly or Delaware County?
I'm in the Norristown chapter. I haven't got down into Philadelphia yet. I don't think I'm ready to battle with those guys down there just quite yet. It might be a little bit too much.
So let's talk about your round. Obviously, let's talk about the shot first on 4. You hold it out from the center of the fairway. What'd you hit there, and what happened?
I stayed aggressive off the tee. I liked the way the wind was blowing. I figured I was going to try and take the bunkers out of place, so I hit a 17-degree hybrid down to about 89 yards. And that back pin with firm greens and a little downwind, I was able to hit a 58-degree that landed about 10 feet short of the pin, kicked a little to the left right at the stick, and then checked and went in, which is a great feeling not to have to make a putt. It's one thing to hit them in there close, but you always have to execute, and when they go in without having to execute, it's a great thing.
got you back to even on the day. So what happened on 2 there with the double?
That was the 100 yards out.
Yeah, I looked in for my scorecard carrier in my bag and couldn't find it, like right before I hit the shot, and so my head was kind of all over the place wondering where the heck I may have left it instead of on the task at hand. And then I switched clubs right before I hit, and it was just a big mental mess that caused me to hit it over the green dead into the bushes and have to do some rescue chipping.
What club did you end up selecting for that second
I took a sand wedge from about 120, but it was downwind, and I thought with the firm greens I would bounce it back there, and I just caught it a blade low, and it hit the back of the green and shot right over the back into the bushes.
So you lost your hole location thing? Is that what you
No,
lost?
what the U.S. Mid-Am gave us those leather pouches for your scorecards and your pin sheets. Yeah, I don't know. I misplaced it after Trump, and I haven't looked for it since Trump. So when I went in my bag and didn't find it, it was a little. The mind was racing on where could this be instead of let me hit this shot and just get out of here and worry about this when I'm done.
So it's not in the bag.
It's not in the bag. Caught me off guard.
And then
Mental midget.
You bogeyed. I guess birdied 8 and bogeyed 9. Would you hit on 8?
Had 175 up the hill, a little downwind. I choked a 6-iron, hit it to about 25 feet, and then just lagged up and tapped in for birdie.
Okay.
And then 9, you were in the right green side bunker.
Yeah, 9, I hit a draw, and we had a nice hard wind coming out of the right, so I was going to try and hold one off and float it in from the right, thinking the wind was going that way, and I just kind of blocked it a little and hit it straight, and it just bounced into the bunker and kind of bounced against the upslope, and I wasn't able to hit a very good bunker shot.
What'd you hit off the tee on them on 9?
4-iron.
And you had like, what, 35 feet for that?
For par,
save?
yeah. I was fishing.
Yeah.
Didn't get lucky.
11 birdie to get back into red numbers.
You're down to the left front bunker there.
Yeah, my tee ball was just a little right in the rough, and I tried to chase a 4-iron on from about 230 down the hill because now it's all fairway, and it got sucked up just short left in the rough and left me a really hard up and down to a tight left pin. So I took the safe play and hit it to 25 feet past the pin, and then made the only putt I made all day right in the center.
And then lots of pars, and then another birdie on 16, the par 5.
16 played dead downwind. I hammered a drive right down the middle. I had 150 left in. Hit a wedge to about 20 feet. I thought it would chase back because it was so much wind, but it kind of spun up and stayed. So I had about 25 feet. Just lagged up and tapped in for birdie.
You've had some success in gap stuff. You made match play, advanced to match play in the amateur. So what's kind of the next? How do you take the next step and win some of these events? Have you thought about that?
Well, I think the changes I made in the winter to allow me to be able to look at just about any shot and know that I'm going to strike it solid and be able to put it in good place for the majority of the round, if not all the round, is going to allow me to stay mentally tough. It gives me more confidence, which puts more confidence in my game to be able to just strike it solid. So I think good ball striking will go a long ways in me being able to consistently keep my scores down lower.
How has the beard affected the golf game this year?
It's actually working on the weight to wind ratio right now. It keeps me nice and level over everything. I haven't had as much head movement. It's worked nicely.
I wasn't. Through your experiences refereeing the last 2 years, obviously at that level, patience, discipline, keen eye. What have you taken from those experiences refereeing and applied to your attitude on the golf course, if anything?
Really, in refereeing, you get days where you have 5 games and you can't get frustrated. You stay out there and you kind of stay to yourself. It's just you and a partner, and then it's a bunch of kids talking to each other. So I'm on one end of the court and he's on the other. So you're staying focused, yet staying busy in your mind for 5 hours, 6 hours, however long in a day in one basketball court looking at the wall. So if I can stay mentally busy there, I should be able to stay mentally busy and still yet focused here, walking in between shots. this is no different than refereeing 6 basketball games in a row when you're out here for 6-7 hours from the time you hit the range to the time you head out.
How long have you done the basketball referee?
2 years now.
Did you play, I'm guessing, basketball growing up?
Yeah, I played through high school. I went to college to play and then decided to play golf and not run around a track like a track and field player. I had enough at that point.
Where'd you play? Where was your high school?
I went to Athens.
Sarah, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Sarah. I went to Athens area high school. Graduated in
SAYRE.
2004. SAYRE, yeah.